Today on the Dig podcast, this is very, very spontaneous, not really planned, hence me sitting in a different location than I'm always sitting in. If you're watching this on YouTube or on social media, I normally have my lights on and my earphones on and all of that, but actually something really great has happened. And I said to Shauna that you're going to hear from now, can I just hit record and we can post this as part of a podcast as to how we as people and business owners, because I do know this is a business community that listen to the Dig podcast, can move out of our own way when it comes to negativity and obstacles. So you've heard me talk over the last few weeks, like little threads of things, and especially in my podcast with Annette from Little Penny Thoughts, where I talked about negativity, negative comments, and how that has kind of, for me personally, and I know a lot of business owners that have reached out to say the same, has stopped them in their tracks, stopped me, a person that I thought could never be stopped. How naive am I to think I couldn't be stopped, but I was. And it affected me greatly. And I started to talk about it a wee bit online. And many people reached out to me, some of which I'll share over the coming weeks and months. But one of the ladies that reached out to me was Shauna Corr, who I have on the podcast with me today. And Shauna owns a business called Tapping Into Success. Now, Shauna sent me a message, and she sent me a message on Instagram and said, I do this thing. She actually I didn't even know what it was. She's like, I think I can help you. And I have been kind of searching for anyone or anything that can help me move past the block in my mind of doing my work, because I was actually so affected by the negative comments that I was stopping doing my promotions, stopping lifting my phone, stopping being me, stopping being able to run my business. And I honestly was open to anyone that could help me, because I didn't matter what anybody said to me. Like, you're doing great, you do such great things, you're such a hard worker. I could not move past this negative block in my head, and it scared me. To be honest, because that's not who I am. I'm always very positive and active and take action. So to be stopped in my tracks like that scared the flipping life out of me. So anyway, when Shauna reached out to me, I said, yes, Shauna, whatever you do, let's just get on a Zoom. So I have Shauna here today. It's only been a week since we had our Zoom call, and the changes within me in a week are actually unreal, that I said, Shauna, let me record this now and you tell people about what you do. So I'm not going to tell you because she's the expert, but we'll go on to talk about how it's affected me in the last week. Hello, Shauna.
Hi.
Welcome to the Dig podcast without really being planned. I said,
thank you. Yeah. No notice or anything. Didn't even have my lipstick on or my perfume on, like you said the other day. Somebody put the perfume on before one.
That's right. Well, look, people who are on the Dig podcast platform just want to hear how people can help them. So that's why I was like, you know what? Let's just hit record here and see, can we bring some value? So Shauna, what is Tapping Into Success?
Okay, so basically it is based on EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping as it's known kind of in a more common language. So EFT is it's a self-help tool, really. It's something that you can have in your toolbox for when you need it. And what we really do is we tap on different parts of the body. So it's completely non-intrusive. You're fully clothed, you're tapping on yourself, and the lowest you go is kind of the underarm point, the bra strap point on a lady. And so it's something that you can learn to do on your own, and you can use it as a relaxation tool. So really what it does, we tap on acupressure points. So it kind of leads back to Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And there's certain parts in our body where they're called meridian endpoints. I don't want to get into kind of too much of the medical detail. Basically, there are certain points of our body that when we tap on them, it reduces the cortisol level. So cortisol is the stress hormone. So when we get stressed, our body produces a thing called cortisol. And really, it's about getting us through a very short time of stress or danger to kind of heighten everything up, get us out of a stressful situation, and then the cortisol is supposed to come back to normal. The problem is these days, a lot of people are living in stressful situations or are just kind of a very stressed type of people. So the cortisol level is constantly at a high level. So instead of just the body working as it should, producing the cortisol level, getting ourselves out of the stressful situation, then going back down to normal, we're all running about really in a state of high alert. And that can be things that are going on personally. It can be things that are going on globally. It can be, when you turn on the news, it's constant negativity. And people are just generally, I think the word I keep hearing is overwhelmed. People are just overwhelmed with things at the minute. So tapping can be used to deal with things like worry, stress, anxiety, And it can also be used to clear blocks around business. So, for example, you mentioned a block that you had with getting negativity targeted at you online, and it kind of blocked you and made you start to question yourself. So, really, it can be used on such a broad spectrum of things. It's really an amazing tool. So, what we do during a session is we tap on different parts of the body, starting off the top of the head, going down through some of the face points, under the arm, and then I also do the fingertip points, which can be really useful. If you're in a situation where you maybe don't want to start tapping on the top of your head, you can tap on the fingertip points. And as we're tapping, we talk through the thing that's annoying us. So it's a bit different to kind of a lot of the talking therapies, because we do focus while we're tapping on the negative. So instead of going straight to, oh, put in positive affirmations, we really work on the premise of we need to go through the bad stuff and start to clear that out first, then start to tap in some of the positive stuff. So some people will go, oh, I don't like focusing on the negative because we're always told to think positive and positive affirmations. And there's room for that, yes. But during tapping, we really want to deal with the root cause of why you're feeling like something. So instead of just saying, somebody's particularly stressed, there's no point in me telling them to keep telling themselves that they're really, really happy and everything's wonderful. We really need to dig a wee bit and see why they're stressed and what's stressing them. And then we go around the points and we'll tap on, for example, I'm really, really stressed about this interview I have to go to, or I'm really, really stressed about my money situation. And we tap through how that makes them feel. So we'll tap through what's going on in their body when they're thinking about it. So whether their heart's racing faster, whether their palms are sweating, the kind of typical signs of stress. And as we're doing that, then we're really breaking the emotional connection with what's going on. So that's why it's called emotional freedom technique. So then we get to the stage where we can actually talk about what's going on, but it doesn't bring up that heightened emotional reaction to it. So you can still explain to somebody, oh yeah, when I was tapping with Shauna, I was telling her all about this situation that's going on in my life. But you can talk about it more from a calm point of view, almost kind of distancing yourself from the emotions of it. You can still remember it. We're not wiping out people's memories, but it just removes that emotional reaction. So you no longer get the heart palpitations, the sweaty palms, because once we're in that situation, we can't really think clearly. Our creative mind goes out the window. We can't speak clearly. Our speech gets too fast. So really, it's just about bringing down that emotion, bringing down the cortisol level so that we can deal with whatever the situation is from a much calmer and kind of more logical point of view.
So if I had knew before we got on the call that I was going to be, like a first call, that I was going to be tapping my head and my eyes and under my nose and under my arms, I would have been like, I'm a very practical person, as in I never really had to do anything self-care wise. I'll go for a walk, right? But I'm not really into yoga or Pilates or mind space or anything like that. I would have had the mindset like that. I wouldn't need to be doing that. Like that's a wee bit airy-fairy for me. That's just me being honest. But it's amazing when something hits you where you'll do anything. So I had an open mind and I came on. And when you started to say it, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this, like tap my head. I just want to say to anyone listening, I used to be an occupational therapist, so I do know about relaxation and bringing the cortisol levels down and all of that. But whatever this is, has helped me within a week. So I did it last Friday. This is Friday and we're having our review. I feel like a different person this week, Shauna. I've been able to go to lots of events this week, promote what I needed to promote, do my work. I was able to be happy in what I was doing, whereas I had fear for a lot of the weeks previous and months past, because I couldn't tap my head like we'd done, or my eyes, but I did my hands. So on the way to, when I was driving to different places, I would have been tapping away to myself, even on the steering wheel, I would have been tapping on the steering wheel, but I was saying the things that you said. So what you said was really, really important. It didn't matter what anyone said to me about, can't believe you're letting that affect you. And sure, you do good work. And, I still couldn't get the positives in. So what you said was right. So that Shauna gives you a tap and script, and she might just talk about it now. But once I was in bits, I was crying my eyes out whenever we did the script last Friday. But it helped me so much because then she brought out all the negativity, and then she got me to say, I have to do my work. I can't let this stop me. I can't let negativity get in the way of the good things that I do. I need to do this for my family. I have my bills to pay. I won't let them stop me. So there are the things that I be saying to myself now, because you actually wrote it all out for me and I've got the negativity out, if that makes sense. I'm just going to explain to people how it worked for me in the last week. So Yeah, have I said that right there? Like that's
Absolutely. And you've explained it really well there, Caroline, because you said no matter what people were saying to you, your logical brain was saying to you, you can do this. You have stood on stages in front of people. You don't have a fear of putting yourself out there. You know, your logical brain is telling you all the right things. Your friends are telling you the same things as your logical brain. But because your stress about it and your fear about it was so high, your logical brain wasn't working. You were in a state of high alert. So no matter what anybody had told you, no matter how wonderful, if you had stood in front of the mirror and told yourself everything was wonderful and you could deal with it, it didn't matter because your logical brain was not working properly. So what you needed to do through the tapping was bring your brain back into balance, bring your energies back into balance, bring yourself back into a calm state so that then you were more open to believing that you could do it. And then only when we get to that point, and that's where the benefit is, it's a great tool to use on your own. But the benefit of working with a practitioner, I see you on screen. And as you're saying certain things, I'm taking notes down. We talk about it first. So there is a touch of the talking therapy first. We talk through the situation first and I'm taking notes. But as I can see you on screen, because I'm a trained practitioner, I'm picking up the wee points that are really kind of the emotional ones, so you maybe say 10 things, but I hone in on maybe 2 or 3 of them and go, that's the thing that's really sticking here. It was about, I need to put myself out there because it's my job, or I'm so angry at these people. And there are the wee notes that I take down. And then as we're going through the tapping, that's the lines that I get you to say after me as we're going through the tapping points. And by saying those things, we're just taking away that emotional charge. Because when you first came on the call and we're talking about it, you were highly emotional about it, and it was affecting you. You were physically, you were feeling it. You were feeling it in your heart. You just have that sort of jittery feeling. And so by tapping, we're taking down that jitteriness so that the logical brain can then kick in. And then you start to believe the things that we then start to tap in of, I can deal with this. I've dealt with other things before. I've stood on stages. I'm good at my job. At the start, you were actually questioning all these things. When we brought you into a sense of calm, then your brain was more open to accepting the positive. So that's where it comes in. We can all do positive affirmations till they're coming out our ears, but if the back of our head is screaming at us about the fear and the negativity, then it's not going to work. And also one other thing you mentioned.
I'm sorry, go on ahead, Shauna.
Just going to say about you not really being open to all this. And that's what I love, because it was a challenge to me, because a lot of the people that reach out to me are people that are in this world. But my background is actually corporate. If anybody, and a lot of people listen to this will go, oh my God, I didn't even know Shauna was in this type of stuff, because it's still relatively new as a business. I've been doing it for years with friends and family, but as a business, it's relatively new. So I come from a corporate world where stress is almost like a badge of honor. We all walk about, I'm so stressed. I've got 5 meetings today. I've got a senior management meeting. I'm so stressed. So it's those type of people that I would love to also reach out to, is the people that are not necessarily the ones who are doing the breathing exercises every day and, their gratitude journals. It's trying to get this out to people to say, this is something that we could all use. It's not just some woo-woo technique that you have to be out like hugging trees to use. It can be used for everybody.
Like I told my husband, right? So I didn't tell him that I was doing it because I didn't want him to start saying anything about it. I just wanted to go with an open mind. But on Saturday night we were sitting, and that's when we relax and talk and connect. On a Saturday night, it seems to be our time. We're in the good living room. I don't know if anybody else goes into the good living room. And I said, we were talking about work and all. And I said, you remember I told you about the negativity and all? And he goes, God, I haven't thought about that since the day you told me. And I said, well, I've never stopped thinking about it every single day since. And it stopped me doing A, B, and C. And he was so shocked. And then I said, but you know what I did? And he just sat and he didn't say anything. And I told him, and I said, this thing that this lady did with me has helped me. And he said, well, I'm glad. Like, he wouldn't be into it. He's never had to, like me, that hopefully he never does. But I said, I'm glad it's helped you, and I can see how talking about it would help you. And he said, I think I see you different, even when the last time you talked to me about the negativity, you couldn't even talk about it because you're crying that much, but I was able to talk to him about it in a much more positive space. So I guess I just want to say thank you, first of all, for sending me the message. I want to thank myself for being open to actually do it.
That's all it takes. It's just to be open.
And I want to let other people know that if you keep that all inside, which I was doing there for a couple of months, you're going to stop. You're not going to grow. You're going to stop yourself in your business, and I deserved better than that. If you're listening to this, you deserve better than that. And Shauna even talked about how it can help your wee kids, talking to them about, all the, whatever's gone wrong, and how, the tap and script that she gave me will help you adapt that to your own life in loads of different ways and maybe helping them relax in their stressful situations. So there's so much benefit. And Shauna, it's only been a week and you only did a session with me for an hour. And I just want to say thank you because it helped me so much, but I'm not going to stop because I'm going to keep doing my script and keep doing my tapping. And because nothing negative, like you said, you Googled it. Did we do that? Did we talk about this on the call there, or was that before we got on the call? That was
before, I think, yeah.
Right, so tell you Googled it because somebody asked you what's the negative. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was actually, I was talking to somebody the other night who was a bit cynical about it all. And I sort of come off the call and thought, what's the worst thing somebody could ask me that maybe I wouldn't be able to answer, sort of just to be prepared. And I thought they could ask, well, what's the negative side of it? And I thought, I've never heard of it, through all my training as a practitioner and all, I've never really heard of any negatives because you can do yourself no harm by doing this. Worst case scenario, it just doesn't work would be the negative. But I Googled it and it came up and said, the one thing that will stop EFT from working. And I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? And when I opened it, it said, just not using it. That's the only thing. And it's just remembering that you have this tool in your toolbox and remembering to use it. And I use it for everything. Our kids are like, oh, Mum, are you doing that at me again? Everything that comes up, I'm like, well, how about we tap on that? Because I just think all the wee small things that happen in our lives can become a build up to things as well. All the wee beliefs that are going into kids' minds about different things, or somebody saying something negative to them, it can get really stuck in there. But if we can kind of be on top of it and just do a wee bit of tapping with them, even every few days, you're just clearing all that and just keeping their energies running smoothly so that they don't get the blocks that then some of the people coming to me have had that are really built in there for years, And you said about it can stop you doing things. When these beliefs get in there, it can hold us back from doing stuff. But again, our logical brain's not telling us you're holding yourself back from doing that, Caroline, because of something somebody said. You'll find every excuse not to do it. You know what I mean? It'll be, oh, I don't have time to do that event. Or, I would love to do that, but I don't think I'm good enough to do it. Or, sure, what would I have to talk about at an event like that? Your brain will make up excuses not to do it. But really, it's the block. It's the fear. Most of it comes down to fear. Most of the things I tap on, whether it's about money, whether it's about business, success, even anxiety and worry, really at the end of the day, most of it comes down to fear. So if we can just tap on that basic fear, then it opens us up then to put in the positive affirmations and the positive stuff and really start to enjoy the day-to-day life rather than being caught up in all those little fears inside.
Shauna, unreal. And I don't share things on the podcast that I don't think are going to help other people, but there's people I know reach out to me all the time with these blocks around all the things you just talked about: money, confidence in camera, putting yourself out there.
Yep.
And there's going to be somebody listening to me and they're going to connect with you and it's going to help them. And then this podcast was worthwhile.
Absolutely. And that's all I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to get the word out there because, it's slowly, and I'm not a very patient person. Maybe I need to tap on that, but it's just getting out there slowly, one person at a time. And the more success stories that I can have, then the more, and from different walks of life as well, then the more people will say that it works. And as I said to you, even at the start, Caroline, or on last week's, when I was trying to explain to you how it works, I just kept going back to, do you know what? It works. Just be open to it. How it works, we don't really know. You know what I mean? If doctor gives us something, we don't start to go into the nitty gritty of how it works. We take it. So just like this, just be open to it and find out for yourself how it works.
Shauna, unreal, I swear to God. So I'm going to put if anybody's listening to this on Spotify or Apple, I'll put the links for how to get in touch with Shauna underneath and also on YouTube. And then I'll be sharing this on social as well. A week is all I've had with you, but I just want you to know that you reaching out to me like that. And I suppose anybody is listening on social, reaching out to somebody that looks a wee bit distressed can actually have such a big impact, because I would still be struggling with my mindset if you hadn't done this. I'm not saying I'm fixed. I'm not fixed. I'm still.
Well, that's it. But for now, for this issue, as I always say, we're like an onion. So it's layers. We're dealing with layers. So you'll know now if something else comes up. Yeah, they reach out to me, or you go back to the tapping script. So yeah. And that's just the tapping script. In case anybody's wondering what that is, that's just what I send in between sessions. Normally, I would work with people for like blocks of say 3 sessions. So I would do a session, then send them a tapping script, which has the actual words to say when you're going around the points based on what's come up. And I ask people to do that then for 10 minutes every day, just to keep chipping away. And then we go into a new session, start on the next kind of layer, and then a different script then for the next week. And all it takes really is 10 minutes a day, or as you say, you can get a bit addicted, and every time you stop at a red light, or you're going through your tapping script, or every time you boil a kettle, you just kind of try and make it a wee habit in your life.
Swear to God. And I actually don't need another session, not being I don't have another layer. That was the minute. That was the only
that one big thing.
I had. And I feel like I've been able to embrace this week as the person that I used to be. So
Yep.
I just want to say thank you so much.
Welcome.
The work that you're doing, and I hope that this podcast reaches people far and wide, because you know what, as you said, there's nothing bad can happen, only good from doing this, you know. So thank you so much, Shauna.
Thank you, Caroline. Thanks for your time.
It's been such an emotional few weeks and months, but I'm glad that I put those two podcasts out, the one with Annette and the one with Shauna, all about helping deal with, God, let's face it, the challenges that most people are faced with in business. Mine just happens to be the negative comments or feedback or whatever. But like, we all have challenges, and we all need to learn techniques, coping mechanisms to get over the hurdles on the road. Mine has definitely, you know, through me, but thankfully I have spoken to people like Annette and also then Shauna, tapping into success. Who would have thought that I would have found relief in tapping the different parts in my body? But I would have done anything. So I hope if you're listening, you get some kind of insights on how you too can find a way through the challenges. Thank you for listening to the Dig podcast. Thank you for believing in me for another week. And remember, if you do get value, if you listen, remember to screenshot and share on social, tagging Dig for Success. And I'll be sure to share that on my platforms too. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you each week. It's an absolute honour.